hoping it circumvents forced penetration. I no longer want Yoko's yoni because it's impossible to always accurately assess the threat level of, excuse me, miss. Sugar, honey, ice, tea. Sugar. The 11 o'clock news announced a recall. Apparently, the ready-to-eat, triple-washed bagged salad I ate for dinner contains traces of fecal matter. Maybe that's why I feel like shit. Honey. She would call me a lying-ass piece of shit. And it was the truth. But it hurt. So I worked hard on my spots and changed them. Now, I'm a changed man. I carry a stack of Bibles with me everywhere I go. And she no longer calls me a lying-ass piece of shit. Today, she calls me a piece of shit. Our relationship is growing better. I'm the fertilizer. Ice. Ice cold coffee freezes brain. For a moment, no global warming. Tea. Hands up! Don't! Amadou Diallo shouts so loud, it's as if a microphone is in front of his mouth. A microphone can be mistaken for a gun. It is just as powerful, if not more dangerous. As bullets begin to fly, they take the shape of Tom Seaver's Journey, Mozart's Last Symphony. Shoot! Oh, shoot. Even in the most effed up moment, Diallo remembers his upbringing. No profanity in public. Thank you.
Thank you very much, M.A. Dennis. We appreciate that was amazing. That was great poetry. I was feeling everything that was said there. Let's give it up again for M.A. Dennis. All right, we're gonna go straight to our next performer, and our next performer is the successor. Let's give it up for the successor, everyone. Let's give it up for the successor.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My thoughts going into this was, we're all on an island. In a way, it's us against them. The 5 boroughs, we're all surrounded by water. How do we make a connection? Okay. The island is full of hope. You can get lost in the dark. A person like me, I try to turn up and be the spark. You put yourself on the map, or the dog starts to bark. You gotta set the plate to attack if you wanna go hard. Yeah, I got a chip on my shoulder. I still got a smile. I'm only 18, trying to live young and wild, be like everybody else. Then I stop and think, what is it worth if I'm really not being me? Would I be right if I take this tag? Would I be right if I smoke this blunt? If I pop a bottle tonight? How will I feel in the morning? Feeling low, home. The things that we do to distract ourselves tend to move us away from our own true goals. Bringing everyone together and becoming one unified group, a family, that's a real island. But at the same time, we have to support ourselves. So in a way, it's like an archipelago. And when we all come together, there's this ember, a ring of fire. Also, there's this song that I want to do. It has like curses. I know that's childish, but it's like, I was really uncomfortable at first, but I think I'm gonna do it. And just like, I just had to get that out there.
Don't say I encourage you.
Be sure to turn your volume up on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in the paint, bitch. For what you think, bitch. I'm in the paint like a brush. Mixing the colors, so what? I'm in the paint, bitch. For what you think, bitch. The word is my canvas. I know you can't stand this. Oh. This is a concept. Still I feel like ain't gone yet. Watch it cause it's on set. Let it down with a long breath. My vision is vivid. That's a chemical mixture. Let it be sizzle. Cause amber will hit you. If I'm going up, you can ascend. If I'm going up, I'm bending a rim. Oh, yeah. My heart is expression. This shit more than a blessing. Can't hang on my mental. That's also a weapon. Like Mega Man, yeah, hit with the beam. Can't hit it once since I turn to a fiend. Lame nigga, why you worried about me? I'm making that pass, I'm painting my sleep. I quit getting the time to my haters. I see that you coming with angles. It's cool cause I do the same thing too. Okay, let's see what that range do. Hit a deep blood taking your ankles. If you felt that, I know that it's painful. Success is the best revenge. And you try to lock me out, but your bitch just let me in. She is my daddy now. Leave you alone cause I feel like I'm Pacquiao. Don't gotta jump on balling now. Don't gotta jump on. I'm in the paint, bitch. For what you think, bitch. I'm in the paint like a brush. Mixing the colors, so what? I'm in the paint, bitch. For what you think, bitch. The world is my canvas. I know you can't stand this.
Hold this.
Woo!
All you gotta do.
Woo! Let's give it up for
All you gotta do is aim it up.
And
No, don't do
Go
anything.
hard in the paint, my man. You already know.
I know.
Yo, let's give it up for Successor. Oh man,
I know,
I'm loving the way this is going. I'm loving the energy. I'm loving everybody here. This is great. Again, I want to thank everyone who are just coming in now. Appreciate y'all for coming out and supporting this event. Next up, we're gonna have Jacob Mosley doing the poetry.
Moses.
Mosley. Excuse me.
Jacob Mosley, I like that though. I like that. I'm gonna remember that. Hey everybody, Jacob Moses, aka the poet formerly known as Jack M. Friedman here. Before I get into my set, I'm gonna talk a little bit about a little something called KOA, or for people who know sign language, KOA. We are a group of people, we're a collective, and we're putting together an anthology called The Revolution, and we are planning on doing a number of different types of events, so look out for that, But in the meantime, I'm gonna do a little self-promotion here. This is my book, And the Willow Smiled. I am gonna read like 3 pieces from this book, I think, because these are pretty short.
Are you also
also selling the book?
Yes, I am also selling the books. They are available at this table over here. They are $15 a pop. Just throwing that out there. I got 6 left. Limited edition. It's exclusive. Yeah. So the first poem I'm going to do is called Vision Quest. Okay. My father's legacy exists in Martling's pond. He offered 2 catfish to the soul of Clove Lakes Park. Whether they survived is a mystery to us, but fishermen often spoke of their presence in these waters. I remembered biology class when I learned how fish spawn. Their offspring contained in eggs while fertilized in their nests. One may only hope we change this ecosystem. Perhaps we changed this environment with a gift reminiscent of Noah. 20 years have passed since we gave them up. Now their spawn eat the algae at the bottom of the pond. Here's hoping future generations help habits harbor harmony. This next one is called Gestalt. If you don't know what that means, it's defined in the first verse here. Literally. According to Google Dictionary, Gestalt is a noun defined as an organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. This circle underwent shrinkage on the peripheries protected by a force field. Can you see a clear picture of who will stay and who will equate friendship with fecklessness? Over the years, you learn that when your world crumbles, your social life crumbles with you. I can only hope whomever inherits this earth knows how to empathize, for the sum of all parts is knowing the difference between those who see you as a product and others who admire your quotients, intellectual and emotional alike. This inner circle is intact. It is the center of a 3-ring circus where the dead take the spotlight as minions surround the bodies from neighboring rings as the coffin is lowered. Some will reach across to help. Others will simply witness your descent. But at the end of the day, some of the cords, radii, and diameters allow you to bounce back, keeping you suspended as you view the full landscape your sanctuaries span. Okay, the last one that I'm going to do is called 13th Floor. Last time I performed here, I got to give a shout out to my mother who's holding the camera here, Mama Dukes. My mother actually read this last time I was performing here, and I'm going to read it this time. 13th Floor. In Hebrew, the word for love numerically corresponds to 13. There are 13 positive attributes of God. Kabbalah teaches us the transcendence of the human ego is represented by 13. Death in the tarot is attached to 13. This represents change, not literal decomposition, and let me just offer a reminder that the tarot's origins are rooted in Kabbalah. Boys and girls become men and women when they get B'nai Mitzvot at the age of 13, and while some fear this number, I would not be born without it. For my grandfather was born on June 13th, 1913, and yes, it was a Friday. All of the positives lacking from religious zealots who only associate the number with witches, demons, and magic compose the base 13 superstitions America possesses. They fail to make the architecture of our urban infrastructure stand 1 story taller. The Empire State Building does not have a 13th floor, and those who defend this have no ground to stand on. Thank you. Stay away.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Jacob Mosley, everyone.
Moses.
Mosley, excuse me. I think I like Mosley. That's my boy though, he cool. All right. This is going great. I'm loving this. Our next performance on the way up.
Just as long as you
How y'all doing? Y'all enjoying yourselves? Y'all enjoying so far? Everyone's having a good time? That's what's up. Next up, we're gonna have Carissa. She'll be doing a poem as well, or a couple of poems.
Ooh, how about now? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
All right, just because Jacob was so into doing this, I'm doing a little self-promotion too. I have a little chapbook as well.
Welcome, please.
Here's the thing though, there was a couple typos in it, so I'm selling it for a discount price. If you want to come and say hi, I'll tell you how much I'm charging for it. But I'm also going to read a few things that are not in the book too. This first poem is called Escape the Mortars. He wasn't a killer. He was trained to be one. Hardened by the jungle, being chased by guns, riding a vessel enforced with metal that was anchored by the beach. And along the shoreline, the fires would begin to climb from the bombs as they were thrown from far away. The gunner and all of his crew were supposed to die that day. Death was closing in. They inhaled venomous air. The fires climbed higher. Some took cover. Some said prayers. He thought of his sister, his father, his mother. At home, he wasn't a gunner. He was a son. He was a brother. His name was Gary. The raging fires on the shoreline began to decline. The bombs stopped. For no reason or rhyme, the one for their vessel never did come from so far away, so the gunner and his crew would live that day. He was never a killer. The war turned him into one. But he was still family, a loving brother and son, and he later became an uncle, a husband, a father, and that's what he used his heart for. Never again for war. So let me ask you, could you abandon your name to fight in a war you may not win? No guarantees if you'll return or still be what you've been? Do you think you can ride the stormy waters, outrun machine guns, or escape the mortars? How lucky do you feel? This next one was actually a message to one of my cousins. It's called The Message in Grief. I don't claim to know where it is we go when our hearts stop beating, when our synapses stop firing in our mind, when our breath escapes our lips for the last time. Our purpose to me is but a lofty mystery, one that I have never dared to solve. What I do know is that life will be what you make of it, and death becomes what you take from it. Bodies are temporary, souls are forever, and no one can take that away. Okay, let me see what else. I poorly bookmarked everything right here. Oh my goodness. This one I'm still working on. I've roughly titled it How Not to Use the Bible. Instead of regurgitating a few paraphrased statements from a book, then deciding who should burn, sit down and read it, cover to cover. Don't judge or blame others. There are lessons to be learned. But I suppose anything can be used to divide if you sectionalize. Then marginalizing becomes your new objective. But we can learn to see our world from a different perspective if we place ourselves somewhere new and walk for miles in shoes that don't fit you. The power-hungry dominate, and they've taught us to hate anything different, and it must be feared. But I've learned enough not to convince fools. For within us, we all have the tools to be better. It's a matter of who is brave enough to go and forget what they know and fix this. How much time do I have, by the way?
Minute 43.
Minute? Oh, okay,
Minute 43.
okay. All right. All right, this was to one of my old psych patients. I smiled. The voices were liars, I whispered. I see you as a champion, once a prisoner in the Colosseum, with little defense to your name. The liars were tyrants, they were spectators who booed, but I just knew you'd make it. You fought beasts bigger than yourself, your life was the prize, and you won it. You left as a gladiator. Those voices in your head were liars, and no one may understand such a magnificent battle that lies within the mind, but I do. Last time I saw you on a platform, you were going to jump, but this time you were walking off onto a train headed to a destination in the waking world. And I want to tell you so much that I hope you like where you're going, that you come so far, and how proud I am for you. But I'll settle for you waving hello as you board the train.
One more time. All right. Our next performer coming up, let's give her a lot of energy. It's gonna be Kyoko, and she'll be doing spoken word poetry.
Thank you.
I'm going to plug myself a little bit. So I have my book available. The first poem I'm going to read is called It's Snowing in the City, and it's available in my book Sticks and Stones. It's $15. I also have a single called Speakers. It's on a dub track that I did with House Noise. And on September 7th, I have an art show coming up that's going to be at Campus Institute, which is on Victory, 150 Victory. And it's about the mother's perspective of police killings and incarceration. It's all done in collage, so cut up pieces of newspaper and fabric and acrylic. So you should check it out. It's going to be really good. It is very good. Okay. This is called It's Snowing in the City. I listen to the sirens blaring, angry shouts bleeding through the curves of my ears, like megaphones, actions militant in its approach, words stomping down each breath exhaled, puffs of cold air escaping from an officer's nose and mouth. Oh, how it triggers memories of being a kid and pretending to smoke the end of a pretzel. I wish I could return to innocent times where color was defined by Crayola. My gaze returns to the young man whose arms are behind him, ready to be cuffed. The wind rustles through the city and hisses, and intermittent honks from the cabbies. Looks of disbelief envelop the youth's disposition. NYPD hands falling down his wayside. Through the city who boasts diversity, I see nothing but systematic mishandling of civil liberties. Seems like they paved their grounds with lawless abandonment. Whose home is this really, if the city never truly accepts minorities? We are a melting pot of cultures and eclectic blends of accents and complexions. Traffic stops, gridlocked by men hiding behind uniforms to cover their racial biases. Stereotypes of black men and Hispanic men crippling progressive movements away from slavery. We are but a society mastered by white egos, strings tugging at freedom like puppeteers manipulating their own play. I watch as sons are lined against bodega walls. One day, my son will walk these streets too, identified by an X, branding his body as if using a hot iron, a caste which terrorizes and burns one's soul. Suspicion is a birthright. Suspicion is my father, my brother, my friend, my son, my lover, my neighbor, my community. Suspicion is defined only by living as a black man. He yells for him to spread his legs. I feel violated just watching. Hands groping the edges of his clothes. Down the lining of his shoulders, the contours of his shoulders, down the sides of his pants, up through the inseams of his pants, over his manhood.
Oof.
Why is the word no not acceptable in this moment? Why is authority allowed to force themselves onto our black men, as if this is a normal behavior? Why has this become acceptable practice? Our youth are being called out for owning their color, shades of rich brown deepen light hues. This is my home, my city of sleepless nights. My hands are marked with guilt for crimes that were uncommitted, staring through blank eyes, who hope to throw our men in the backseat of their cop car. I wonder how long it will be before stop and frisk will come to a halt. A failure of laws that believe that if you target and incarcerate a small group of men, it means the masses are criminals, and justifies stripping constitutional rights from these men. I stare as his body tenses, as if he wonders what he did wrong. Strangers casting him as a sinner, a drug dealer, a thief, a murderer. Yet he is none of these. He is in truth a son. He is a brother. He is a father. He is a black man heading home from a hard night at work. It's cold in the city, but all I can think about is, what if my son wore a hoodie? Would he be mistaken for a robber? What if his hands were in his pocket to keep warm? Would police think he is concealing a gun? What if his boots make too much noise when he steps? Would someone report that he is walking in a no blacks allowed block? Yes, I think we are trampling on individual civil liberties, and I want equal justice for all, because life and death means our youth are not hailed in a shower of bullets by the men that are placed on the streets to protect themselves. Themselves. Life and death does not mean protect the ignorant from the innocent. Okay, this is the last piece. It's called Walmart. Your Uncle Sam is Sam Walton, founding father of laying chain stores over mom and pop shops, gentrifying neighborhoods and shuttering the hood, blocks iced in retail parking lots, filled wall to wall with discount products, but no grocery store for miles. Walmart employees clock in 8-hour shifts, 5 days a week. Their namesakes belittled for needing public assistance, while Walton heirs spread falsehoods, claim they don't use Medicaid to buffer their wages, demonize food stamp recipients, while using SNAP to outsource their staff's meals, recluse the idea that they use subsidized housing and childcare as blankets to cover their checkbooks, pay stubs cut like mulch, insulating poverty lines to keep workers in check, overworked, underpaid mothers fueling taxpayers' resentment, despite good old Sam forcing employees to work in servitude, body and spirit devoid of financial freedom, bound paycheck to paycheck to return to Walmart each day to skim and stock the aisles. Employees pack the shelves with an array of goods from food to clothes to music. They're given benefits in the form of discounts off Walmart merchandise, proceeds reverting back to America's uncle. Protests abound around Walmart doors, newspaper headlines, tracking the motives of our dear Sam, whose aisles are cleared of damage, despite carnage created by police. After John Crawford III walked the aisles of Walmart, phone pressed to his cheek, head bobbing slight in conversation. His body swayed in comfort as he stepped surrounded by customers disguised in invisible cloaks, as he carried a conversation over the phone with the mother of his 2 young children, she unsuspecting of his fate. His gaze, distracted by the flow of conversation, steps traced back to video. No verbal commands by the police before the sound of gunshots could reach him, pumping his eardrums deep and heavy through his covered lobes, veins surging with the pitch of bullets ailing the young dad's life through his chest and arm. It's every mother's nightmare, her son viewed as suspect because of the color of his skin, as his hands grazed over items as he walked through the aisles, fingers tapping the surface of items discarded atop, shelves haphazardly a mess from previous shoppers, customers who were not viewed as worrisome as they first carelessly unpacked the pellet gun John Crawford played with as he shopped. No one condemned the customer for removing merchandise from its casing, but John Crawford's hands were seen as deliberate, premeditated angst, whose grave end was met when he lifted the BB gun as if he had a right to fit into the community he lived in, without fear or reservation, an anomaly no black man is privy to. Thank you.
All right. I mean, if y'all not feeling these words that's been being said in these last few performers, you might have to get your feelings and your emotions checked, because I'm feeling everything that's going on right now. Our next performer coming up is Thomas. He's gonna be doing some poetry as well. Come on up, bro. Come on up.
This first poem is dedicated to Dennis, because of the name. Man says a dishonest ghost haunted his house. Man claims ghost's name was Kevin. What we allow to enter us is never the same as what we allow to sit next to us. The ghost made me do it. The ghost made me do it. Sometimes the exorcism doesn't work. You stay the prodding probe of anything that can fit. You say there was no permission when Kevin haunted your house, blaming the past for the manipulation of your present. Say something real, something cinder-like. There is always something inside that guides what we do, that helps us cope when apparitions, apathy, moral cores. When we hurt each other, the ghosts need to blame us as much as we need to blame them. We all are a haunted. We all are a hurting. We all are a healing. We all have ghosts. Yeah. Any comic book fans out there? Yep. Fantastic. Fantastic. So when I say the MCU, you know what that means, right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? The Marvel Cinematic Universe. For those people, if you care, maybe you don't care, it has nothing to do with that. This next poem is kind of about that. The MCU, or the Medicated Cinematic Universe. It's interesting how life serves us. Our heroes find paychecks here. Our heroes find throats here. each paneled page a devil in artist clothing. I am all for what scientists give us, but I am not all for what scientists take away. Each devil paneled in pharmaceutical clothing. I am all for what artists give us, and I am all for what artists take away. The last time I was diagnosed was on page 316, 317, 318, 319 of The Joker, the New 52. The last time I was depressed was at the age of 42. I am 42. I can't tell the art from the pills anymore. I don't know how to color in that kind of lie. I can't tell the poems from the pills anymore. I don't know how to scream that kind of lie. I can't tell the capitalist from the provider anymore. It's interesting how life tricks us into believing in us. It's interesting how believing in us tricks me into thinking there will always be a rabbit in the hat, into thinking I didn't snuff that bunny from hoping a long time ago. What doesn't kill you will only make you long for the day that does. What helps you live will only make you long for the day that did. Trying to pick up your prescriptions at the comic book store, trying to pick up your subscriptions at the pharmacy. It's interesting how life serves us. We often look to our heroes by the milligram. We often look for our healing by the pharmacy. And even when I read my comic books, I am high. And even when I take my pills, I am high. And even is all I want to be, is all I want to read about how the damaged always win, about how the damaged are always medicated into believing they always win. So, for commercials, unfortunately, I'm part of a press called Nightside. We do a bunch of different readings and events around Staten Island. Tomorrow, upstairs at the Hahnemann Lounge, we do an open mic called Who Needs Healing. That'll be hosted by Ellen Dotz. If you're interested, M.A. Dennis will be featuring there. I believe the theme is Gently Get Away From Me?
Yeah, gently get away.
Gently Get Away From Me. It was originally something like Fuck Off, but they had a problem with that. So it's Gently Get Away, or Kindly Get Away From Me. You can use whatever one you want. We also run a slam called Blind Best Poetry out of the Richmond Hood Company. I don't know if you guys know where that is. On 827 Castleton. We do that. We're going to do that September 20th will be our first slam. The prize for the slam, there'll be 3 slams and then a final slam in December. The prize, well, I don't know if you guys know what Brooklyn Poets is. They're an amazing organization out in Brooklyn. We will pay for you to take a workshop with Brooklyn Poets in the spring. So please, if you're interested, come see me. We have 3 different themes for the slam. So yeah, I'm going to read 88 more poems. I'm going to read one more poem. I was on the chapbook if you're interested, whatever. It's $5, $10. I'm going to do this last poem. And thank you for listening to me yell and scream. We're Staten Islanders, and it's great. Most people don't know this about me, but I am an 18th century dainty, antique, delicate, cracked Japanese teacup. When the Japanese mend a broken object, they aggrandize the damage by filling it with gold. When something has suffered damage, it becomes more beautiful. They said they knew who I was. They said they were afraid of my past. Little did they know, so was I. Oh, haunting pasts are like rowing neck goiters. Always in the way, always in plain sight. And they didn't have a problem reminding me of the 10-year cocaine habit thing, or the unemployed thing, or the poet thing, or you've only been sober from coke 2 years thing, and rehabilitation doesn't always mean promise, and they thought me not a gentleman to keep. They said my petals had long fallen off. Little did they know that bud blooming in the wind is a rising sun. And I have crawled out of shit and seizures, and I ain't ever going back to up my nose, so fuck you. It is me who is saying my light is way too bright for you. I was the dry spell, and then the storm. Thieving, lying, deceiving, deceptful, dirty, dreadful little rocks snorted through brain. I am the fire of ash, the burnt over with heart. I resurrect thee, and your judgment of me is just another candle lit on this journey. I am the journey. You are nothing but a path. It's never too late to be yourself. If someone ever says to you, you can't, show them the well-lit back alleys of your torso. This city breathes for change and yearns for life. 2 years ago, I used to have to say, hello, my name is Thomas Fucaloro, and I am addicted to cocaine. Now I say, hello, my name is Thomas Fucaloro, and I am a New School MFA creative writing graduate. And you know who was there for me? I was there for me. If anyone ever tells you it's too late, tell them it's too early to jump from bridges. And you know what they say? Cocaine abuse does lead to literary MFA degrees. And you can keep cutting my limbs, but like a starfish, I keep regenerating back. So yes, I am a motherfucking super badass 18th century dainty antique delicate cracked Japanese teacup. I am damaged, but I am beautiful. My mouth is a well. You can certainly put your wishes here. Thank you for listening.
Let's give it up one more time for all the performers that started this out right now. All right. We're going to take a quick little intermission, maybe about 15 minutes, so everyone can maybe use the bathroom, grab a drink, grab a smoke, check out the merchandise that is here, even network real quick, and then I'm going to come back with 2 more poets, and then I'm going to get into some music from some music performers, all right? So we'll be right back. Everyone just use the bathroom, do whatever you got to do. All right, and thank you again for coming. I appreciate everyone.